If you haven't gotten on the virtual bandwagon yet, or you haven't grown beyond small retreats and masterminds because the tech stuff freaks you out, well, listen up. Today, I'm going to break down all of it for you. I'm going to pull back the curtain so that you're ready to jump in with both feet. Confidence is such a beautiful thing, and you've worked too hard to create a thriving business, thriving cash flow, thriving community to let tech get in between you and your path of purpose. Inquiring minds want to know, how are entrepreneurs like us daring bravely to build a stage, ditch the sweatpants, and step up to the mic? How do we create our own transformative events so we can get our message out into the world in a bigger way that's not only profitable, but it's actually something we can be proud of? That's the question, and the answers are inside this podcast. My name is Sarah Pfeiffer. Welcome to Green Room Central. Hey, it's Sarah. I have an invitation for you right now. You can join entrepreneurs from across the globe who share a passion for hosting their own events. Become part of the community that inspires and cheers you on over at greenroomcentral.com. I want you to know that curiosity is what got me so darn excited and so darn good at this part of events. My reward for curiosity has been understanding. And understanding how the wizard behind the curtain works is such a freeing feeling. It helps you serve your guests better. It helps you save money. It helps you show up as your highest and your best self in front of a live audience. And I want all of that for you. Today, I'm going to break down your options when it comes down to event tech. Okay? So I want you to know that you have three options. First, you can bring in your own gear. You can DIY, build it yourself. I don't recommend this, but more on this later. Number two, you can use the event venue's AV provider. And number three, you can bring in an outside AV provider, okay? Regardless of the venue you choose, for the most part, you have all of those three options, okay? So it's kind of like if you're going to order food for your wedding, right? You can, option one, you can go to the grocery store. You can buy stuff. You can make stuff. You can serve it at your wedding. Or option two, you can use the caterer that comes with the venue that you're hosting the event at. Or number three, you can put in a little bit more work. You can go hire an outside caterer, one that specializes in the type of food that you like to eat and the size of wedding that you're having and serves the food in the way that you like it to be served. So your job is to decide which option is the right fit for you, okay? And more specifically, and this might show my bias to the answer that I'd like you to choose, but if it's option one, option two, or option three, your job is to decide, is your job for this event being the AV provider or no? Okay? Really let that question kind of sink in and roll around in your brain, all right? If you decide yes, and that is 100% okay. If you decide yes, the DIY option is for me. My advice for you is this. I want you to assign the task of AV to one of your team members. If you're going to go rent an Airbnb and trick it out with your own projector and screen and whiteboard, that is fine by me. But I want you to assign that job to one of your team members. You cannot show up as your highest and best self and serve if you're also monitoring the AV at the same time. Are you with me? Okay, good. I'm glad we agree on that. So let's move on to option two. If you decide that option two is right for you, maybe you rented space at a hotel and you want to press the easy button and use their in-house AV team, here is my advice. I want you to ask lots of questions about not only what do they need from you and but also what equipment works best in their space, so that you get what you and your other speakers that you're bringing into the event need to show up and serve, but also, and most importantly, what is needed for your guests to be able to see and hear well. That's the goal. Your guests need to see and hear. If they can't, they start checking out. And when they start checking out and getting distracted, you lose them. They lose the opportunity to learn the great stuff that you're teaching. You don't make the impact that you were intending. They don't get the transformation they were hoping for. And I know this sounds so super simple and perhaps even silly, but if people can't see and hear, they check out. And if you're going to take anything from this conversation today, it would be that. That's the whole point of AV at your event, is to make sure people can see and hear and really underline what you're teaching, make it more visible. All right. So if you've decided to go with option 2, you're going to ask lots of questions so that they can get the equipment that you need set up in the right way. Okay. Really trust that they work in this space all the time and that they've seen it set up a whole lot of different ways, and they know what makes it successful and what doesn't. And so trust that advice that they can give you, but you need to ask for it because they might not volunteer it. All right, so let's move on to option 3. So if you decide option 3 is for you, you want expertise and you want to hire an AV team that specializes in the type of event you'll be running. Maybe you're running a virtual event in a studio. Maybe you're running a big conference in a hotel ballroom. And you want to bring in somebody who can support that level of event. I want you to take this advice. 3 things. First, hire early. Bring a production company into the conversation about your event as early in advance as possible. And we're talking months here, not weeks. I think that's a big mistake people make, is that they forget that the vendors that they're hiring, they do this for a living, and they've seen lots and lots of events. And they can offer advice. They can be a trusted partner and confidant and sounding board and help you brainstorm, but they can't if you don't bring them in until the last minute. And then all the time that's available has to be dedicated to execution. Do you follow? So hire early. Next, I want you to be disciplined in your search. I don't want you to make the mistake of just hiring the first company that you hear about. So ask for recommendations, check them out online, narrow your list down to 3, and then start conversations and get proposals. You'll be surprised the differences that you see when you take that approach. And then third, I want you to trust your gut. You might be wondering, at the end of the day, how do you pick? Because you've never done this before. And so how would you know? But it may come down to trusting your gut. And please know that you're not looking for a best friend here. You're looking for a partner that you trust, that you think you can work with, and that has the time for you. Of all the partners that you're hiring to support your event, your AV partner is one of, if not the most important. The vendor should be really interested in you, really interested in your business, your goals, and the objectives that you're trying to accomplish with your event. And if they aren't, pass. Events are a fun puzzle to solve, and it should feel like whoever you're hiring is anxious to get to know all that they can so that they can provide you with a rocking awesome solution. And if we've just moved too fast, please know all of this is inside of Live Event Academy with like detailed checklists and the questions that you should be asking and what you should be putting in a request for a proposal. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a a primer here so that you can kind of move past that sense of feeling stuck, right? Because remember, you're on a path of purpose. You're growing your business. You're using events to fuel that growth. And so you're not going to let yourself stay stuck in this whole, tech is hard business. And so you're going to kind of get back into that sense of momentum on this event dream by not tolerating a lack of understanding about tech holding you back on this path of purpose. Okay? I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, drop them into my DMs on Instagram and I'll help you, or drop them into the Lynchpin Nation community. Remember, it's totally free and there for you 24/7 to be getting support and your questions answered. So remember, lynchpinnation.com. And that's that. You're no longer stuck. You have the answers and the resources you need to get unstuck about event tech, and you're on your way. I'm so excited for you and for what you're planning and for your community, because they are just going to love what you're planning. All right, take care. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Green Room Central podcast. If you love this episode about event tech, then please take a screenshot on your phone and post it to Instagram, and be sure to tag @SarahFavor and let me know why you liked it and what you'd like to hear or who you'd like to hear from in the future. That'll help me know what to create for you. Also, I've been hearing a lot of business owners say that people are tired of virtual events, and that's just not true, which is why I created a brand new 5-day challenge called the Virtual Event Lab. I want to show you how to make your next virtual event profitable, engaging, and most importantly, how to make it happen. And the best part is this 5-day challenge is absolutely free. To register right now, simply go to greenroomcentral.com and we can get started today. In case you're curious, this podcast is built on Kajabi. I am loving how easy it's been to set things up, but more so, I'm thrilled that my entire business is run within one platform. From my emails to my pages to my courses and now to my podcast. It's all under one roof. If you love simplicity and scalability as much as I do, then go to greenroomcentral.com to get a free 14-day trial from Kajabi. I appreciate your commitment to leveling up and learning the mindset and the strategies of live events. Keep going. Keep learning. If you want more, head over to greenroomcentral.com for show notes and all the links from today's episode.